seriously bumped to the top of the advanced training list. My suggestion to you...
Half-Life Opposing Force takes on a role similar to the more widely recognized Half-Life 2 episodes. That is, it's considered an add-on or expansion, yet it technically stands alone as a game that doesn't need the original to play. Of course, you'd be hard-pressed to get this expansion without at least getting the original game, but that being said, Opposing Force is a great continuation of the Half-Life gameplay and story. Opposing Force's gameplay is very similar to the original Half-Life. The game was technically developed by Gearbox and Valve, but it would seem that Valve took a back seat and instead directed when needed. That being said, this game feels very much like Half-Life. Mostly everything that made the original great is here. Story isn't told through cutscenes, and with the exception of the beginning of the tutorial, control is never taken away from the player. There's an emphasis on minor puzzle solving, and some platforming challenges are present. Shooting is restricted to firing from the hip, that is without aiming down sights, but there is an optional auto-aim mode that's mostly applied to smaller enemies. So, what does Opposing Force do differently? Well, in terms of core ideas, not much, but Opposing Force does change up some aesthetic things like character and enemy designs, but also some practical differences like those found in the weapons. Every weapon is entirely different from those encountered in the original game. No crowbar here, instead it's a wrench. And the changes aren't purely aesthetic. The wrench is actually a lot heavier than the crowbar it replaced, and a traditional sniper rifle makes its appearance in an apparently larger arsenal. Opposing Force represents an early form of Gearbox's love of guns, with its somewhat more expansive weapon options. A little more emphasis on NPC control is present, but lackluster AI and infrequent squad opportunities render the feature pretty forgettable. The designs of the NPCs and enemies are somewhat changed up, as mentioned previously, and are mixed in with already established allies and threats. The latter take on a more practical form in the means of attack, and the new guns, enemies, and areas in Black Mesa do enough to set Opposing Force apart. The game is a continuation of the Half-Life name, but the plot isn't necessarily continued in Opposing Force. The game takes place during the events of Half-Life, but you're not playing as Gordon Freeman. Instead, you play as Adrian Shepard, a Marine sent in to silence the witnesses of the Black Mesa incident. But, of course, there's an alien invasion going on, and it quickly becomes more of a matter of survival than a by-the-books mission. There are numerous references to key moments in the original plot, and in fact you see Gordon Freeman for a brief moment. Even more layers of government intrigue are introduced, and the plot becomes interesting in its own right. My only problem, from a nerdy fan point of view, is the inconsistencies Opposing Force introduces. If Freeman was killing a bunch of these Marines, wouldn't he have stumbled upon some of the different weapons? Barring the standard issue guns, wouldn't he have come across some of the radically different alien types and their weapons? But irrelevant plot holes that can easily be explained away with a bit of imagination aside, Half-Life Opposing Force is a solid shooter in of itself, and a worthy game to play for any fan of shooters and especially the original Half-Life.